I just found out I'm a backup friend for all of my friends. I'm 25F, I'm an introvert and I've always maintained a close-knit circle. I recently figured I'm just a backup friend for all of my friends. They want to hang out with me only when they have nothing going on for them. I've always considered these people to be my best friends and they call me their best friends too, but recently all of them were invited to my enemy's wedding and they all were so excited. Basically all of them from my group except me. And they aren't even slightly close to her. I DK how to feel about all this. I feel like I should be hanging out with a different circle altogether. Too long did not read. I'm irritated with all of my friends treating me as a backup friend. Any advice on how to deal with this would help. Get back here and explain the backstory with your enemy. I'm 25F. You are way too old and not important enough to have enemies. I'd book a session with a therapist, try a few out if you have to, and explore why you have one. Take a chill pill, you're crazy. Who TF has enemies LMAO? There is still time to delete this. Is your enemy after you unless you pay a large sum of money? Sorry, could not resist. You can't say enemy with O explaining that. We need the guidance of this history. People don't have to give up their friends for you. They should choose to give up that friend because whatever they did to you shows who that person truly is a bad person. This sounds more complicated than you've shared, but if you throw away everyone the second they're not perfect, you're gonna remain a loner. This girl has an enemy LMAO. This doesn't sound like you're a backup friend. Having an enemy sounds very juvenile. They're allowed to be excited about a wedding. Fellow introvert here, yes that kind of sucks, but it's the price we pay. We want to be wanted, but we also don't want to actually do things. It's a difficult balance. Joining friends just enough to continue to receive invites, but not so much you feel overwhelmed. The enemy part might be due to translation. Not sure if is fluent in English or not. So I won't pile in about the enemy wording. But you really should discuss your concerns with your friends. Nothing you say here suggests you're a backup friend. Unless they know about your strong dislike of this person, they're probably going because they want to party and it's an opportunity for you all to hang out. That is if you were invited as well. Good luck. The fact that you weren't invited to your enemy's wedding doesn't mean that you're the backup friend. It just means your friends are friends with this person. Are they supposed to not go because you don't like this person? Do you feel betrayed somehow? Backup friend? Your enemy's wedding? Come on. Just be a good friend, choose good friends, enjoy your time with friends and stop with the labels and shit. Keeping score isn't going to serve you well in life. They only want to hang out with you when they have nothing going on for them. I'm a bit confused here. I only hang out with my friends when I'm not otherwise occupied with my own stuff. Do you mean they hang out a lot together and only invite you when one bails? I'm just a little confused as you say you are close-knit in one sentence then say you are a backup friend the next. I have people I can't stand too, but I wouldn't exactly call them enemies. This could be a translation issue though, so I won't be so quick to be picky about that. If I had an enemy though, I would not want to go to their wedding. I am sorry if you are feeling undervalued, it's not a good feeling. Maybe it's time to branch out and find friends that you feel better about. Is this post about being an actual backup friend or getting invited to your enemy's wedding? How are they related? You didn't really explain how you found out you were the backup friend. Are you just assuming you are because they are going to a wedding? And aren't you a little too old to have an enemy? This isn't high school or an action movie. Genuinely curious, what makes that person your enemy? What do you mean your enemy? What do you mean you figured out you're the backup friend? Why can they not be excited about an event with other friends even if you don't like the people involved? It's really hard to tell what's going on here without more specifics. It could be anything from friends not supporting you when someone did something reprehensible to friends just hanging out with someone you don't like. On top of that, it's hard to tell how you discovered this, or if it's more. You feel as if your thoughts and feelings on the matter were confirmed for the worst. Define a backup friend. Maybe it's time to venture outside of this circle for your own set of relationships. It sounds as if this is a complicated friend group with history. Lol. No, you are not their backup friend. It sounds more that you are jealous that you weren't invited and they are. And now you are upset that you can't control them in not going. Which can make you a toxic friend. So be careful in jumping conclusions. Not to be judgy, but it sounds like you caught on the wrong thing. Just because you feel a person is an enemy doesn't mean that your friends do. This doesn't devalue your friend's relationship with you. If you feel it does, you might be the problem in the group. Wait. You're the backup friend because they got invited to a wedding and you didn't. Make it make sense. Is the enemy someone that really bullied or abused you? Or cheated with your husband and is now marrying your ex? I'm trying to understand what you mean by enemy. Because I'd be hurt if my friends didn't realize the extent of how much the person hurt me. That might be worth a conversation. But I don't understand the backup friend conclusion. How does them going to a wedding make you a backup friend, and why is this person your enemy? So, I get that you're upset that your friends are excited to go to your enemy's wedding, but I don't see how that's any reflection on their friendship with you. Nor do I see why you are leaping to the conclusion that you are a backup friend. What's the backstory with this enemy? You need to make amends to your enemy. It will help you move on and get over this issue. Don't be. Now you can be sure that they always have to buy you drinks when you go out. Tell whoever you feel closest to that you feel hurt they only think of you if they don't have anything better to do. I had to tell a best friend of mine when she got excited about rekindling an old friendship that I didn't want to be called to hang out if her old friend couldn't because I felt like second pick. She hadn't thought of it as me being a backup versus her now being free to make plans with other people. She apologized and hasn't to my knowledge done it to me since. I'd also look at your character, behaviors and see if there's anything you need to improve. Again, if you trust someone in your group, ask them what's up. You know being backup friend isn't so bad. At least you know you're the one they go to. Think of if they got nothing else to do, free time. And I think that somehow makes you an important part of their lives. I just want to know the story of the enemy. Why is that girl your enemy? Did she do something bad? Or you two just hate each other? If it's the first, if she caused you harm, damaged your relationship, or anything of the sort, I understand you. In that case your friends are insensitive. But if you two just hate each other for petty reasons, then you're in the wrong for expecting your friends to miss the wedding just because you yourself do not want to go. Russia and Ukraine are currently enemies. What did yours do to you? Also invade your house and bomb your backyard? You get the point. Yes, it's probably very disappointing and upsetting to know your friends are going to a wedding of someone you clearly hate, but you either should let them know how upsetting it is for you without expecting them not to go or make your peace with it. Also entirely unclear why you see yourself as a backup. I'm the introverted friend too, and I'm glad when my friends don't drag me out to social gatherings but rather come see me on my terms. That's beautiful. Shows they know me and respect my boundaries. First, explain the issue with this enemy. We need more context to work with. You may have a valid reason for feeling the way you do, but you need to lay your cards right, so people can try to help you navigate this. Maybe your so-called friends are indeed insensitive and taking you for granted, but unless we understand why you have that other person so much you call them an enemy, it just makes you look controlling and dramatic. Is this enemy a former best friend who betrayed your trust? Did your enemy bullied you, harassed you, sexually assaulted you, or you just hate that person because you didn't get along? You need to explain what happened. If you aren't comfortable with a group of people, changing is always good, but take into consideration which things are about you feeling like the backup friend and the actual facts. Don't blame others for your perception. I don't think a group just randomly chose you to be friends with when they don't have plans with anyone else. I understand losing friends can be hard, but I prefer having no friends than having fake friends. Sincere advice: don't be emotionally dependent on anyone, whether it is your friends or your partner. It's just bad for your mental health. Also, there's nothing wrong in making new friends. As a fellow introvert, I know it can be hard, but just try making new friends. More importantly, solitude is a blessing. Enjoy it while it lasts. Cheers. What kind of 25-year-old had a sworn enemy? I need details. Not sure what this whole enemy thing is, unless they did something seriously fucked up. Your friends are allowed to have other friends. My enemies are after me. Send me $100,000. I'm an outgoing introverted. When they need you for the backing up, just ditch them. That's what I did. Don't got shit friends anymore, and the one that stuck around was in an abusive relationship, so she didn't have a choice. Maybe they're just respecting your space. Like, they want to hang out with you but they know you don't like large crowds or nothing, so they tend to not invite you out very often. Honestly, most people don't invite their friends when they have something else going on. It's one thing if they all decided to see a new exhibit together and didn't tell you. It's another altogether if one is going out with her partner or one other person and they don't tell you. It's normal to dislike people, but unfortunately, if your friends want to go, they're going to. As long as your enemy isn't trying to come between you and your friends, aka manipulate them into isolating you on purpose, I would just forget it. If it starts to become toxic and a lot of drama, I would separate myself from the friends group. You can still appreciate the friendships you have for what they are. It doesn't matter, you can stay friends with them, you don't need to throw it all away. You have a support system and people that care about you in your life. You don't have to go to this wedding and it'll all be over soon. Life will go on. Do they know your feelings about the enemy? The enemy might be charming enough that people don't understand how evil she is. Yeah, IDK about this. It sounds like they're excited to go have a good time at a wedding, not sure how this makes you a backup friend. I mean, my friends are friends with people I really dislike, and I don't give a shit if they hang out with them unless they're in some kind of danger. Plus you describe the person as your enemy, like they're some kind of supervillain. I don't know what that person did to you, but that's an extreme label. Well, Regina, people are allowed to have friends outside of you. People are also allowed to attend events you didn't get invited to. You aren't the main character in other people's story. Neither are they in yours. The enemy thing sounds rather immature. If you don't like the person for whatever reason, cool, you don't hang out or deal with them. Keyword being you. If you are annoyed by who your friends hang out with, then that's a you problem, unless that person is like a convicted serious crime here, which would make it understandable at least. You are in no position to judge whether or not people are close enough to warrant it. My best and honest advice is talk to a professional about this stuff and don't seek validation on Reddit. You can vent, of course, and you are also allowed to be irritated. But remember that people won't necessarily think the same, feel the same.